Reformed Church.
There's just something, it just keeps coming back up over and over again, and it's been just something that's been constant. There was a line that Miss Lindsay sang in, I think it was Bursting Forth, maybe, drank of the water. That when you just think of this, I just saw in my mind like how full you are. Like I don't know how full you see yourself, right? Like how, like a deep, full well on the inside of you that whatever it is, a tinge of thirst, like the slightest little thirst, right? You just draw out and drink. The slightest thing that you would feel, right? You just draw out and the need is met, but there was something I'll just share with you very quickly. There was something that I have thought about for a long time with King Solomon that always bothered me a little bit. Like, Lord, like how could it be that a man with so much wisdom of God, so much wisdom from you, could so easily allow temptation to bring him away? Like, it just always bugged me a bit. But there's something that just recently, I'm not saying this was necessarily maybe the same exact thing that was that goes on like in everyone's life, but there's one thing that the Lord started showing me, which I had never seen this way, that there are many, many people, and I don't know if it's all, I don't want to say a blanket statement and then it not be that, but a lot of times where people fear the temptation. In other words, a person that is, let's say, saved but has a problem with alcohol doesn't want to drink, right? Has a desire from God not to drink, right? And hates it when they feel the urge, right, to drink. And they may very easily give into it because it's a thing in your mind, right, before you understand the power of God, that when you're tempted, you have no recourse but just to give in and do it, right? Because that's how you lived before, right? Before, if you felt something in the flesh, you just went with it, right? And you did whatever it was. It doesn't matter. It could have been drugs. It could have been alcohol. It could have been anything, right? But there's an interesting thing with temptation, right, that there is no need for us to fear it, right? In other words, when you feel something, there's nothing. I mean, there literally is nothing that can overpower you, right? Because greater is the Lord that is in you, literally. You have so much greater abundance on the inside of you than anything that's in this world, right? So you don't have to fear it. You don't have to feel like almost, because it's interesting when you equate it to things that you used to feel and that you used to think about, almost that you feel overcome, like almost like, oh, like I felt the temptation, so therefore almost like you're just prone to just do it, right? Like there's no, like you don't have a well overflowing on the inside of you, right? And what I thought, right when Miss Lindsay, I just been thinking about this, and then with Miss Lindsay, when she was just leading us in worship, I thought about this, that we are like trees planted by that water, by that well, which spreads out its roots by the river and will not fear when heat comes, right? That's Jeremiah 17:8. Will not fear when heat comes, right? Why would a tree, why would people that have such an abundant well in them, why do we not have to fear when heat comes, right? Because why would you, right? You have a well on the inside of you. What is there to fear? Heat can come to the world, right? But to people that are planted by a river, why does it matter? It doesn't matter, right? The heat in the world it's not here or there to you, right? And then it's interesting because it says that our leaf will be green and will not be anxious, right? We will not fear, will not be anxious in the year of drought, nor will we cease from yielding fruit. It's like temptation is not the end of your fruitfulness, right? It's not even the ceasing of it. In other words, it doesn't even have to be an interruption of your fruitfulness, right? Because we're always bearing fruit to some extent, but it's a cool thing when you hear, like, you don't have to fear it, right? That you don't have to fear when heat comes in any aspect in your life, right? In other words, when things are trying your body, right? When things come to try your body, to try carnal mindedness, right? You don't have to give into it. Let me just give you another simple example. We don't have to major on the examples, but if you're somebody that somebody just has to look at you the wrong way, and you're like, what are you looking at, right? In other words, we don't have to feel like the minute somebody prods you, you're going to react the same way every time, right? Like almost like you can't help it. You're helpless to react the way you normally react to anything. It could be to temptation. It could be with the temptation to lash out at somebody. It could be someone that is nasty to you, and you feel like the temptation is for you to respond and like to them, right? But we are really people that are literally right? We have a river of life on the inside of us that is there to supply to to respond to all of that, right? To respond to any need that somebody else has. Listen, if we could lay hands on the sick and see them recover, that means that I have a river of life in me that can meet the needs of other people outside of me. How much more will that river, the glory of God in me, how much more will God, right, with the abundance that he's given me, not meet my own needs, right? All of them, right? No matter what they are, all of them.
We hope you enjoyed this message from Reformed Church. If you have, please share this with someone else and help us get this uncommon truth out to the world. If you'd like to support this good news, you can do so at reformedchurch.com/give. Also on our website, you can take advantage of our free messages, articles, and even full discipleship courses. Start reforming your mind now at reformedchurch.com.